Last week I made a video showcasing 7 new cool Asian horror games that you guys should be aware of, and maybe even include some of them on your wishlist if they succeed in capturing your interest. However, a good comment from one of our subscribers directed my attention to an important subject that is worth talking about, which is third-person horror games and the good titles coming to this genre in the near future. And to be honest, this seems like a very important video to make because I feel like first-person games have dominated the horror field in the last 10 years, in a way that makes the third person seem like a weird perspective that can only be enjoyed through titles like Resident Evil, and even Resident Evil itself shifted to first person recently. So it's really obvious that it's necessary to shed some light on this forgotten type of gaming experience that gave amazing times through the years, especially during the golden age of PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, when third-person games were all over the place.
What?
In today's video, I'm going to talk about 10 stunning third-person horror games that I'm personally very excited about and keeping under my radar, because I think that they cover all of our preferences, whether you prefer games that are more psychological or ones that lean more to the action and survival side. So let's end this long intro and just start the countdown.
When my grandmother died, she left me her house. My own place. No rent, no mortgage. I thought I'd won the lottery. But all that changed after I met Martha. There's no way this is real. What the hell?
Look, I get that this is all really weird, but there are a few things you need to understand. I know some things about your grandmother. Best I can piece it together, she was someone pretty high up in a secret society.
This is a very interesting one for me because a lot of people say that it will basically be a similar experience to the classic Silent Hill games, but with modern graphics and mechanics that can make it appealing to the current generation of gamers. Stray Souls takes you on a chilling adventure within the haunted town of Aspen Falls, where you play as a guy named Daniel, who is an average teenager turned protagonist. However, his life will turn upside down when he inherits his estranged grandmother's home and delves into a world of terrifying enemies, formidable bosses, intricate puzzles, and a captivating narrative where appearances deceive, which means that the game melds horror combat and soul-like precision to rejuvenate the action horror genre. The game also offers a compelling mix of gameplay elements, including dynamic dialogue options that shape Daniel's persona, fostering player engagement. But the most challenging part will probably be the streamlined combat mechanics, which emphasize strategy and resource management, intensifying confrontations with various foes. It's also expected that there will be a lot of clever puzzles that demand inventive solutions and cater to puzzle enthusiasts. And it's also worth mentioning that randomized systems also inject replayability by shifting enemy encounters, item placements, and weather patterns for a fresh experience each time that you cannot predict. The good news is that this game will probably see the light of day in the next couple of months, and we will be able to test it out ourselves to confirm if it's worth it or not. And also to understand the plot more, because I really want to know what the heck this guy's grandma was doing and why she's scary.
Every family's got secrets, but not like mine.
Daniel, no!
The only reason that convinced me to add this one to the list is the fact that it looks so fun and has Asian vibes, aside from the horror theme that's manifested through the existence of zombies. Kingdom the Blood emerges as a highly anticipated action horror RPG poised to captivate enthusiasts of zombies and martial arts at the same time, as well as people who like to play with swords as their main weapon. By plunging you into a zombie-infested portrayal of Korea's Joseon dynasty, The narrative unfolds through the eyes of Li Chang, the valiant crown prince, and as the kingdom grapples with the onslaught of the undead, Chang's courageous quest to defend his realm unfolds against a backdrop of relentless peril. The game's appeal stems from its smooth fusion of hack-and-slash combat combined with real-time strategy components, meaning that players are required to skillfully harness their abilities against both hordes of crazy zombies and imposing human adversaries. Beyond mere combat mastery, the urgency of survival also demands astute resource management and strategic dexterity to bolster the kingdom's fortifications, because, as you know, you're the prince here, and you should know how to have some expertise in keeping your resources as much as you can. So far, the game is scheduled to release sometime at the end of 2023 exclusively for PC, but we don't know for sure if other platforms will be added soon. Anyway, it looks cool, and I'm personally keeping it on my radar until it sees the light of day.
Murdered on my ship. Investigate immediately.
Tensions on the ship will increase. Supplies were already sparse, and now this.
This list cannot be complete without an experience that takes place in space, and I think Negative Atmosphere is the perfect candidate for a spot in today's video. It's an immersive survival horror game that takes place on a void ship called Rusanov, where you step into the role of Samuel Edwards, the ship's chief medical officer, navigating a nightmare scenario where former crewmates have turned into monstrous creatures due to a weird outbreak. The game emphasizes tension, dread, and psychological trauma, which promises to deliver intense experience of evasion, combat, and survival amidst constant danger. A notable feature here is Edwards' medical expertise as a gameplay mechanic, which allows players to creatively repurpose routine medications to save the injured, manipulate enemies, or even alter Edwards' condition, which is really a cool mechanic that makes the journey very realistic and strategic. Character depth is also a strong suit, as Edwards has beliefs, experiences, and coping mechanisms, which means that players need to uncover his backstory, values, and personality traits, aligning their decisions with his identity. Choices impact Edwards' mental state and reactions to unfolding events, adding emotional investment and significance to decisions that will probably also make us emotionally connected with him. So let's hope that this game will succeed in fulfilling its promises when it comes out and provide a memorable experience that can stick in our minds and make us crave more. Trust me, if you're a fan of games that pay homage to classics and you have a nostalgia for games like Silent Hill 4 and Resident Evil 1 with their special camera angles, then you'll like today's video because the list contains a few titles that deserve your attention. One of those games is Hollow Body, an eagerly anticipated third-person survival horror experience that unfolds in a dystopian near-future UK, revealing a divided and dangerous world. The protagonist here is a woman called Micah, an unlicensed shipper with ties to the black market underworld who finds herself embarking on a harrowing journey that will test her mental stability and ability to protect her sanity. Everything starts when her mission to deliver a package in a hazardous city sector takes a sinister twist, thrusting her into a life or death struggle. The game draws inspiration from acclaimed titles like Silent Hill, Resident Evil, Outlast, and Soma to create a beautiful mix of classic and contemporary horror elements. And with a dark narrative rife with mystery and perilous combat, you are enveloped in a world that you have no idea about its history or what's lurking in its corners. Combat in Hollow Buddy is also expected to be a strategic art that challenges you to employ your abilities against a diverse array of threats, which can include not only paranormal entities but also humans. We don't have a clear release date at this point, but it's obviously going to be something exciting when it finally becomes available, which will hopefully be very soon.
So, your uncle. What's wrong with him?
He says a dark man is following him, watching him at all times.
No! 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 You stay back!
I don't know how many of you experienced the original installment of this franchise that came out back in the 90s, but if you lived through the multiple releases that came to light in 2001, 2008, and 2015, then you could definitely understand why many people are excited about the upcoming remake. The focal point of the game centers on the enigmatic Derceto Manor, which serves as a sanctuary for the mentally drained, where you assume the roles of Emily Hartwood, brought to life by actress Jodie Comer, and Edward Carnby, embodied by actor David Harbour. Together, they venture into the intriguing puzzle surrounding the vanishing of Emily's uncle Jeremy Hartwood, but apparently something much more sinister is hiding behind the shadows, which will turn their journey into a nightmare. By maintaining the essence of the original, this remake really feels like it injects innovation into the familiar formula, which can be seen in the intensified combat, which presents heightened challenges, and the expanded range of intricate puzzles, which keep your mind sharp as you navigate the manor's twists and turns. However, the game's true distinction lies in its promise of an immersive atmosphere, especially when we realize that it's guided by director Frederick Raynal, the same guy known for the Outlast series, and you know how good Outlast was when it comes to making our hearts skip a few beats. Raynal promised that his goal in this remake is to create a masterpiece that instills both terror and enduring reflection, so we can remain focused on surviving from start to finish. The best part for me is that the game's release is so close, and we will be able to experience all of this in less than 2 months, in October 2023. And hopefully our expectations will remain high.
Our combat is intense and tough, and you will need to use every bullet you can find. And if you run out of bullets,
I'm out of bullets!
you might need to get in close and hit them with a melee weapon. Or if you're lucky, you can find something to throw. As mentioned before, your job is to find out what happened to Jeremy Hartwood. And to do that, you will need to visit some unexpected places. And to get to those places, you will need to find clues and solve some interesting puzzles.
I can feel it. Your guilt. So thick it chokes the air. You want to know how you can escape from this place. But you can't.
Well, I don't think this video can make any sense without including a Silent Hill game on it, but this time I decided to share with you a new one and probably the most innovative project as well. Silent Hill Ascension stands as an upcoming interactive streaming series created in collaboration by Genvid Technologies, Bad Robot Games, Behavior Interactive, and DJ2 Entertainment. So basically, there's a real focus on this project, and the whole crew is working on it. This series marks a spin-off within the Silent Hill universe, granting players the power to shape the narrative's trajectory, which means that by operating within the canon of the Silent Hill franchise, Ascension basically bestows players with a unique degree of influence over the series' fictional universe, making them responsible for the outcome of the events. If this doesn't give you an idea of how cool this is going to be, then I honestly don't know how to impress you anymore. Anyway, the series will be published by Konami, of course, and hopefully they won't screw things up like they did with Hideo Kojima's Silent Hills, which stuck in our minds to this day.
Even your children. Because no matter how hard, how fast, how far you run, your past will catch up with you.
If you're searching for a game that draws inspiration from both classic and modern survival horror titles, then this one can obviously meet the criteria you're searching for because it really looks like something veteran gamers would appreciate. Just like Stray Souls, Wrong Dust is also a third-person survival horror game that combines elements from classic survival horror titles like Silent Hill and Resident Evil, but with influences from challenging games like Dark Souls and the infamous Bloodborne. The game plunges you into a forsaken town plagued by supernatural terrors, and the freedom of open-world exploration allows you to carve your own route through the unsettling surroundings because as you traverse this eerie environment, you'll unearth fresh territories and hidden mysteries, all while grappling with puzzles that test your nerves. You will also be compelled to protect yourself against various enemies, including both human foes that can deceive you and supernatural beings with powerful capabilities, which promises a tactical and adrenaline-fueled playthrough. The narrative, featuring a dark and disturbing storyline, delves into the town's history and unsettling mysteries, making you curious about what happened in this place and why all the inhabitants look completely insane. Even though it's still in development, Wrong Dust shows potential to be a standout title in the survival horror category, offering a blend of exploration, puzzles, combat, and gripping storytelling that could deliver a truly unforgettable experience. What makes me glad is that the developer has stated that the work is ongoing, and we will probably get a fixed release date very soon so we can finally know when we will be putting our hands on it.
You're too late. They're all gone.
You won't make it.
Recording this as I hear more than just dust against the glass at night. The storms have arrived. No one trusts anyone anymore.
The door, it's been sabotaged.
What do you mean? Jack? What happened? What was that?
We're back in space again, but this time with a game that we know exactly when it's going to be available, and gladly, it's happening very soon too. Fort Solis is a story-driven thriller that transports you to the mysterious Red Planet as you assume the role of Jack, responding to a distress call from a remote mining outpost. The captivating storytelling in the game is enhanced by the talents of acclaimed actors Roger Clark, Troy Baker, and Julia Brown, who bring forth emotions like fear and empathy in every chapter, interweaving essential story elements with additional layers of depth such as audio and video logs. When it comes to visuals, you should all rest assured because the game unveils a visually enchanting world powered by Unreal Engine 5.2, carefully constructing both above-ground and underground zones within the secluded mining facility. The intricately designed base comprises diverse departments like engineering, medical, and communications, each contributing to the complex's daily functioning, enabling you to revisit locations for additional context or to witness the ominous fate that awaits Jack. If all that you heard captured your interest, then you should be ready to experience it for yourself very soon on August 22nd, when the game finally launches and we can put our hands on it.
Agreed. I'm on my...
Jack, for helmet, get over there now! You need to get over there now! Jack, come in! Contamination purge accelerating. Answer me! Jack! Contamination. Come in!
Seem to become obsessed with the same thing.
He can't have betrayed us.
That data can't be allowed to leave here. The living and the dead have contributed with their light, or the whole world will burn.
This one probably has the most different plot on the list, and it feels like a mix between Dead Space and Resident Evil in terms of vibes and how the atmosphere blends survival horror with duty. Daymare 1994's Sandcastle delivers a unique survival horror experience linked to its acclaimed predecessor Daymare 1998, and as a third-person, story-driven prequel, you embody Special Agent Dalila Reyes, formerly a government spy, now aligned with the unit Hades, to explore a cutting-edge research center in the United States. The game mainly centers on uncovering enigmatic secrets concealed within the abandoned military complex, and by engaging in a tense atmosphere, you navigate through perilous encounters with deadly foes that skulk in the darkness, but gladly, you are equipped with cutting-edge armaments to help you confront any creature that can threaten your life. It adeptly merges dynamic action mechanics, environmental puzzles, exploration, and an eerie soundtrack to make your journey even scarier and force you to stay on high alert in every place. Other key features include an innovative device in the protagonist's arm that unveils hidden puzzles and documents. And this is very important for you because environmental puzzles provide essential clues as adversaries push limits. The best part is that there's a free demo that you guys can play right now to get a taste of all that I just explained and also to make up your mind before buying the full version, which is going to be available in a couple of weeks on August 29th.
Whoa. Let's see what else I can do with this thing.
In this nightmare, I write to escape. Every word is a step forward. Into darkness.
I'm glad you're on this case with me, Anderson. It's right up your alley.
The victim was one of their own. FBI Special Agent Robert Nightingale.
So you knew our victim?
Only the rumors. He was chasing a writer.
Someone knew they were here. Was playing a game with them.
Killer left a message.
It's for us. The text is about us.
We were all trapped in a horror story. The horror story wanted us dead.
After 13 years of waiting and anticipation, the one and only has finally decided to make a comeback so we can continue the journey of the mysterious writer Alan Wake and understand what the heck happened to him. In this installment, you embark on an unsettling adventure with Alan Wake, trapped in an alternate dimension for years, and his only way to escape is to craft a chilling horror story around an FBI agent named Saga Anderson. You will be able to experience both Alan and Anderson's perspectives with the order of stories chosen by players for added agency, which means that you'll have the chance to understand how Alan sees the events and how the FBI agent is trying to keep up with him. Taking place in the town of Bright Falls, Washington, the game embraces a darker and more atmospheric climate than its predecessor. And as usual, you will be armed with light weapons and flashlights that can help you face the embodiments of Alan's fears and the mysterious Dark Place, which is the name of the nightmarish location, by the way. Furthermore, you will also love the fact that the game features a dynamic weather system that influences gameplay and ambiance, adding layers of unpredictability because the weather shifts amplify atmospheric tension as you navigate the fictional town. I'm personally very optimistic about this game because I really enjoyed the first one so much back in 2010, and the fact that we're only 2 months away from getting our hands on the second one in October makes me thrilled already.
Steel coffee! Stolen his heart!
Occultist. A monster. Like Nightingale.
Okay, so technically the video ends here before I tell you about some honorable mentions at the end, but since I had to re-upload it after taking it down yesterday, I decided to expand the list a little bit by adding 5 titles to make it up for you. But I'm going to try to break them down for you quickly to avoid making the video too long. At number 5, we have an extremely beautiful game that, in my opinion, deserves more attention from gamers because it seems like a mix between Project Zomboid, 7 Days to Die, and Darkwood, but with extra flavors. It's basically a cooperative zombie survival game that embraces an expansive, top-down open world, and of course, it takes place in a post-apocalyptic world ravaged by a zombie outbreak. It necessitates collaborative efforts as players scavenge for vital resources, construct weaponry and tools, establish strongholds, and bravely fend off the relentless onslaught of the undead, which means that you will live the zombie apocalypse life in all of its aspects. It really looks insanely fun, and hopefully we'll be able to dive into its world sometimes this year. At number 4, we have a game that I'm positive you guys forgot about, and I'm personally starting to ask what the heck is happening to it and when will I have the chance to play it. State of Decay 3 is supposed to be the latest installment of one of the best zombie franchises that I believe has ever existed, due to the fact that State of Decay 2 was basically the only zombie game I played that made sense and made me feel like exploring the world around me was worth it. What we know so far about the third is that it takes place in a dangerous environment that will probably make things harder for us, but obviously the protagonist is badass and she can handle the situation, or at least we can help her to remain alive as long as possible. So let's just hope that Xbox will have time to produce this title after Starfield comes out. At number 3, I have an interesting game for you called Aftermath, where you play as a woman called Charlie as she quests to reunite with her missing daughter while contending not only with supernatural forces, but also with her personal inner struggles and mental problems. We don't know exactly when this enigmatic project will release, but when it does, we need to do our best to help this mother find her daughter. At number 2, you'll discover a game called The Parasites that you've probably never heard of before, but I can assure you it will capture your interest. In this journey, you play as one of the survivors who endured the impact of a colossal meteorite's descent. But in order to stay in one piece, you need to construct, discover, and persevere as you enhance your character's abilities by combating the invasive parasites that have overrun the planet. I don't know about you guys, but for me, it really looks like all the amazing survival elements are present here, and thankfully, the game has a free demo that can help us experience them before buying the full product. At number 1, I have a fresh game for you with the same concept, but you can enjoy it with your friends because it's a cooperative survival shooter that puts you in a sprawling open world that's expected to contain all the messed up stuff that you can think of. Your primary goal, as usual, is to survive at any expense while being hunted all the time by unknown creatures, and you also need to be careful of the stuff that you cannot see because the environment here is said to be dynamic and hazardous, making things even tougher for us. So if you're up for the challenge and you want to enjoy an experience that's similar to the Forest franchise, but from a third-person perspective, then keep in mind that this game is coming very soon in January. The main main list for today is officially over, but it's obvious that there are some honorable mentions that can't be ignored, and the elephant in the room is definitely Silent Hill 2 Remake, which to this day has no official release date, and we don't even know if Blooper Team is handling things as it should. Some people say the game will release at the end of this year, and others speculate it will be pushed to 2024. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Konami pushed it to 2030 or something. Another game worth mentioning is Post Trauma, which is heavily inspired by the classic style, just like some titles on today's video, and it also relies on the psychological side when it comes to getting to your mind. There's also Silent Hill F, but we don't know much about it so far aside from this short teaser, and we're not even sure if it's being worked on as we speak or has been put on hold until other projects pass. But in case you want something to play right now, you can always give Returnal a try if you have a PlayStation 5 or PC, because it's really an amazing experience that merges science fiction with horror and survival in a perfect way. Anyway, until next time, stay safe and keep the horror going.